News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
High bail for a man charged with disturbing crimes. Good morning, this is John King filling in for Peter Christian, who's taking Fridays off. Your news this morning brought to you by Bull's Eyewear, Missoula's only certified master optician, located at 2910 South Reserve in the old R.P. Ellis location. Call 552-1299 or visit them online at bullseyemt.com. 33-year-old Randall James everybody talks about is in the Missoula County Jail on $400,000 bond for allegedly forcing a woman to ingest methamphetamine in addition to pistol whipping her and sexually assaulting her over several days. Deputy County Attorney Brian Lowney explains.
He's charged with 3 crimes currently: sexual intercourse without consent, aggravated assault, and criminal possession of dangerous drugs with intent to distribute. These are largely centered around a weekend in which he perpetrated violence upon his victim, including strangulation, other assaultive behavior towards her, and obviously the sexual intercourse without consent charge encompasses what most people would commonly term as rape.
Lowney explained to Judge Landy Holloway why he requested such a high bail amount.
Largely that's because of the danger to the community, as the court can likely see from the complaint. The violence that Mr. Everybody talks about perpetrated upon the victim in this case is extreme and happened over the course of a couple days. Beyond that, though, he's currently on probation out of Flathead County.
Lowney said that the defendant has an extensive history of skipping out on bail.
I'd also note that as part of his PTRs, he's posted prior bails of $50,000, $20,000, and then another $50,000, and yet continues to violate his probation conditions. He currently has a $100,000 warrant out for his arrest in Flathead County, so he's being held on that bond as well.
Judge Holloway set bail at $400,000 and remanded everybody talks about back to jail. His next court appearance is set for May 18th. A man who killed his girlfriend and then dumped her body in western Montana has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. The Missoulian reports that 31-year-old Emmanuel Gomez was sentenced yesterday for the death of 26-year-old Charlie Ann Wyrick. A jury convicted him in February of deliberate homicide. Prosecutors say that on December 21, 2015, Gomez and Wyrick got into a fight at his house, where roommates testified they were awakened by yelling before hearing a thump and a scream. They then saw Gomez drive away in his SUV. Wyrick's blood was found on the ground, and data from Gomez's phone showed that he drove to the Patty Canyon area south of Missoula after that fight. Wyrick, who was stabbed in the chest, was later found dead at the bottom of a ravine. Republican congressional candidate Greg Gianforte announced on Thursday that Donald Trump Jr. will be coming to Montana to urge voters to elect Gianforte to the seat vacated by now Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke.
It's great to have Donald Trump Jr. come back to Montana and join me on the campaign trail. I appreciate his strong support because he understands what's at stake in our country and the importance of electing someone who will work with President Trump, not Nancy Pelosi.
Donald Trump Jr. and his son were already in Montana just last month for rallies and some prairie dog shooting in eastern Montana. Gianforte says they were surprised by the size of the state.
Well, he was out here a couple of weeks ago, and we took him all the way to Ingomar. There was a little bit of work out there we had to get done because there were a few too many holes in the pasture. But he got so excited. He says, this state is so big, we drove all the way to Ingomar. And he said, it keeps going? I said, yeah, we got to go take a look at it.
Well, he'll get another look at the size of the state. He's got rallies taking place in Helena, Great Falls, and Sydney on Thursday, May 11th. Although no specific schedule has yet been announced, the special election will be held on May 25th and will be a traditional polling place election. Farmers markets across the state began running this month, and Montana Department of Agriculture spokesman Andrew Fagesit says there's an online resource available for Montanans to find nearby locations to purchase locally grown foods.
We just released our 2017 Farmers Market Guide, which is a really great resource for people wanting to find farmers markets in their communities or just, curious if there's any in certain parts of the state. So we got about 70 markets listed in that guide, which is available at farmersmarkets.mt.gov.
I asked him which farmers market just happened to be the largest, and here was his answer.
Technically, Bozeman, the Gallatin Valley's farmers market, they have the largest single market in our guide with 200 vendors or so. But in Missoula, if you combine, if you were to visit both the Clark Fork Market and the Missoula Farmers Market, you'd probably be able to see about 300 vendors. So between the two of them.
Missoula's Farmers Market opens tomorrow. The Hamilton Police Department responded to a call of a single vehicle rollover crash just before midnight Wednesday. Police Chief Ryan Oster explains.
There was, again, just one vehicle involved. It had rolled over. It came to rest on its top up against the guardrail there. There was minor injuries to the driver and only vehicle occupant. Alcohol was a contributing factor to the crash.
Oster says the driver caused some damage during the crash and had to be treated for his injuries.
There was appeared to be at least one wooden sign from a business that was adjacent to the crash that was damaged in the accident as well. He was examined at the scene by EMS and was not transported. He had just minor injuries that were taken care of at the scene.
According to Oster, 31-year-old Michael Tuminello was taken into custody for driving under the influence of alcohol and was cited for aggravated DUI. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation will display the largest elk ever taken in Montana on May 8th. RMEF spokesman Mark Holyoke says Steve Felix shot the bull on public land in eastern Montana last September.
He went out and shot this elk, and he realized that it was large, but he had no idea until he actually took it to somebody who could tell him, hey, this is really, really big. It's the largest elk ever taken in Montana. It's the largest taken with a bow, and it's the largest taken in North America in some almost 50 years. So it's a big, impressive animal.
According to Holyoke, the animal was so big that it was extremely difficult for Felix to take it out of the forest.
After Steve took this animal, he had to haul it out in like 5 different trips. He was by himself, so it was an exhausting effort taking it out of the forest. And he had the antlers on his back, but they were so large that they kept getting stuck in the ground as he was walking, and so it made his trip that much longer.
Both Boone and Crockett and Pope and Young recognize this elk as a world record. Boone and Crockett is an organization that keeps track of trophy-sized animals. Pope and Young does the same, but they focus on bow hunting. You can see pictures of the bull on our website at newstalkkgvo.com.